Tim, welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're taking a trip to Russia by means of Geneva. Patek Philippe's Sculpture 5091/1A. This is the famed Russian watch of the late 1990s, one of no fewer than 3 steel sports watch references that Patek Philippe debuted in the 90s after over 150 years of downplaying the type. This Baroque timepiece was designed to reintroduce Patek Philippe to the Russian market in the late 1990s, and it did so with extraordinary flair. This is a kind of watch that will polarize opinion and cause emotions to flare dramatically. You'll either love it or you'll hate it, with nothing in between, and Patek Philippe marketed it expressly as such. This is a timepiece that's Baroque, one might even say Rococo in its execution, and represents a unique moment in time for both Patek Philippe and the Russian luxury watch market. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see it wears larger than it is, purportedly one of less than 3,000 constructed over a short production run. Again, I wouldn't live or die by those numbers, but rest assured, it's exceptionally rare. The watch was designed all of a piece: bracelet, lugs, bezel, and case, and in a lot of ways it sort of represents the fusion of a Cartier Ballon Bleu and a Nautilus, featuring the characteristic wing design astride the case of the Nautilus with the sort of bridged and flared crown design, almost in this case as though a Fabergé egg were sandwiched between the case flank and the crown bridge. This is a very distinctive watch, and worth noting, it debuted a full 3 model years before the Ballon Bleu. Original in every respect and daring, this is a timepiece that rewards repeat viewing simply because of the number of facet curves and nuances. It's, quite frankly, like an incredibly rich Russian court dessert of the Tsarist era. So sweet, so rich, so dense, it almost overwhelms. But it is thin, at only 10 millimeters thick. You can see that it has a generously sloped case flank with that little winglet peeking out and a domed bezel, so you can wear this with any tight sleeve or dress cuff. From lug to lug, again, it looks bigger than it is. The actual lug to lug measurement of this one is 46 millimeters, and the timepiece, frankly, draws a lot of power from its lateral flare. The distance from the pirouetting pin of the crown to the winglet on the opposite side, giving it a substantial 41.5 millimeter span across the wrist, even if the nominal measurement is about 37. It's substantial, and the bracelet is beautifully integrated. You can see it fluted and knurled. The complexity of the design is matched only by the seamlessness of its integration into the flow of the lugs. On the underside, a double deployant, full steel Patek Philippe clasp keeps it secure, and when closed, has a handsome and low profile, the better to avoid damage while desk diving. You can see that the sizable links allow the watch to be fine-tuned to the size of the wrist, and they do use screws. No pins and sleeves here. This is a Patek Philippe. One sign of the watch's age is the tritium dial. Now, this watch spanned the period during which Patek Philippe began to phase out tritium. This is one of the earlier examples, did feature the tritium dial, and you can see stylized Arabic numerals with outboard seconds and minutes scale. It does feature a quick set function for the date, and behind the screwed-in case back, make no mistake, despite that it is 3 ATM water resistant, not a swimming watch, is a Patek Philippe 30-jewel automatic winding manufacturer caliber 315, the predecessor of today's 324. It beats away at a stately 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate. It does feature a quickset system. It is thin, it is fine, it does have approximately a 40 to 45 hour power reserve, and it does bear the Poinçon de Genève, the Geneva hallmark. Though you can't see it, rest assured the finishing is to that standard, and flawlessly so. Finally, it's worth mentioning that the watch features the Gyromax free-sprung balance architecture. So while this isn't a swimming watch, it does have a little bit of the heart of a sports watch in it. Free-sprung balance is better holding the regulation in the face of bumps and vibrations on the wrist. One of the most unique features of the watch, aside from the integrated lugs and bracelet, the signature of this timepiece is the inlaid enamel of this almost crown or scepter cap shaped winding crown right here. It's best described as a Fabergé egg sandwiched in layers of stainless steel. That's really the best way to describe it. Again, the cap of a scepter, the crown of a czar, the peak of a cathedral, It's evocative of many different images in Russian tradition. All I can say is that I like it, it's handsome, and once again, you know which way Cartier was looking when it penned the Ballon Bleu in the early 2000s. This is a watch that is extraordinary. It's one of the most adventurous, ambitious, downright daring designs by Patek Philippe in its entire history. A watch designed to polarize from the get-go. This is Patek Philippe at its most fearless, pushing the limits regardless of consequences. This is a watch for the connoisseur who wants to truly have representations of every Patek Philippe steel reference, or alternatively, the Patek Philippe reference that none of his friends will have. Again, an exceptional reference in the history of both Patek Philippe and a landmark watch in the history of the Russian luxury watch market. It's a timepiece that appeals in any time zone. See it and buy it on our website.